Right, this is Full Stroke Timeline Hangout number 42. Pre-recorded as have been the last few. I don't know when I'm going to start recording live again. That depends on, as I've said before, I have problems with my software. Right, as of October 10th, I'm actually recording this on October 10th. I'll probably put it out tomorrow, Sunday. As of October 10th, there were 5,000 entries on the timeline. I started off in June 2016 with about 1950. So I've added 3,500 since then. It's about 5,002. It's over 5,000 anyway. I thought I'd go over the timeline, not its history, but some general stuff. Originally, if you want to, the origins of the timeline I discussed on Full Stroke Timeline Hangout number 4, which was recorded live October 12th 2018. You'll find that in the Internet Archive, on my YouTube channel, on BitChute now as well, and you'll find links for all the hangouts on the timeline on the timeline itself. Originally I intended to make false rape to include false rape allegations, and it was going to be mostly all well not institutionally, but mostly from court records and cases that went to court, but I've included a lot of social media stuff now. There's also attempted rapes, indecent assaults. There's a few real rapes. There's a girl who was attacked by an alligator, showing that real victims fight back. Freedom of information requests, journal articles, etc. But there were well over 5,000 actual false rape allegations. In fact, the entry for December 14, 2016 is an article from London Times, which has 2,187 allegations. That's fairly baseless. That's from the corrupt law firm Lee Day, when they went to Kenya to find women who've been raped over periods of decades. It's absolute total scam. Before we go further, I'd like to give a couple of shout outs. First to site sponsor number 2. Site sponsor number 2 made it possible for me to purchase the domain and web space that's guaranteed to keep people online, keep this online for at least another 2 years. Went online initially it was my main website, but I purchased the domain, I think it was last October, nearly a year ago, and it will be on Full Stroke Timeline.org hopefully for the next 2 years. I can renew it after that, if I'm still around, if I'm being cut up by the coronavirus. I want to give a shout out to site sponsor number 1 too. Site sponsor number 1, I've known him for quite a while. I knew his father, who his late father now. He's younger than me, but he's had his real troubles. I've visited him in 4 different hospitals over the past few years, and I keep telling him to slow down. Well, I think the lockdown has slowed him down now, so he should be getting some rest. My own health has been not so great, better than Eddie Van Halen's. great guitarist, of course. Got a reference to what I've got a reference to Van Halen's song on the title, actually, Hot for Teacher. But I had lots of problems over the years. The latest has been that horrible accident in June, on June the 9th, and I think I've got permanent tendon damage in my left hand, which will please some people, but it doesn't stop me typing. Keep doing exercise with it. They give me some exercises to do. I asked to see a physiotherapist. They give a telephone appointment with one, so I hope I don't ever need open heart surgery. But anyway, shout out to the 2 site sponsors. Shout out to my Ireland correspondent, who's been very helpful, giving me some good leads, and to my Australian correspondent, who's found some really wacky stuff for which been very helpful. Shout outs to I've corresponded with a number of men who've been falsely accused of rape. Quite a number now, actually. Most wouldn't appreciate me giving out their names, but I will mention by name Alexander Kanomu, who has his own blog, who was framed by falsely accused by a female psychopath named I forgot her name now. This is embarrassing. I keep forgetting people's names. The young woman with breasts to die for. Oh God, I can't, this is embarrassing. I think I must be going senile. I think I must. I keep forgetting names. Oh dear. Spell the name properly. Oh yes, Eleanor de Freitas, yes. Extremely attractive young woman, but incredibly toxic. So shout out to Jack Rebeledo. Jack, who's his deranged, estranged second wife went the extra mile and then some to frame him. Staging an attack. Fortunately, he was out of state when it happened. And would you believe she's still blaming him? She pleaded guilty. I think she pleaded guilty, changed it to not guilty by reason of insanity, and it's still his fault. It's always the man's fault, or a type of man, or men in general. Absolutely incredible. So that's I've kept keeping. Hopefully she'll be back in court sometime. In the UK, she'd have got at least 3 years for that, maybe more. But at least, I mean, I can understand the reluctance to prosecute women for making false allegations, but there's a limit. You know, a woman who makes a false allegation on the spur of the moment, or without being pre-planned, but when it leads to an arrest of somebody, when it leads to somebody being arrested, as the Court of Appeal said, in the case of Jennifer Day, prison inevitable for false rape claim, but inevitable. But when for a dedicated fit up like that, you know, that requires years behind bars. I mean, Jack would have been behind bars for at least 5 years, if not more, and his life would have been destroyed, his reputation. I mean, it's absolutely outrageous. So shout out to Jack. Also to the irrepressible Kieran Goggins. Haven't heard from him for a long time, but he's actually been banned from, I think it's what website, what they do for you, or something. They work for you, or something like that. He's been banned. He's been putting in freedom of information requests, and he must have been wording them rather poorly, because he's been banned from at least one site. So thumbs up to Kieran. I've had correspondence with a number of police officers and lawyers over the years. Off the record, they generally don't like to speak on the record, but see the entry for February 26, 1996, false allegation of indecent assault against a police officer in Palm Beach, California, Palm Beach, Florida. Had some useful correspondence there with the police. I've had correspondence with court officials and press officers. I can mention them on the record, but it's a part of their job. So, it's a rather interesting couple of sort of newsy things here. Austin Chronicle. I put this on the timeline of my main website. There was a woman. I posted a comment to. There's an article about rape or a false rape allegation. I think it was a rape or false rape in was it Austin, Texas. And I commented pathetic women and linked to the timeline. And somebody called Wee Ramekin, she replied at length, Alexander, false rape accusations are extremely rare. Yeah, rare as barking dogs. As you have a link to some Minnesota review, Minnesota law review, are so rare in fact that if you accuse someone of lying about their assault, there's almost no chance that you're correct, which means you're in the unenviable position of being a jerk to someone who was raped. Posts like yours are incredibly harmful to survivors of sexual assault. They're also harmful to the entire community, even those who haven't been assaulted. People read your posts and realise that if they ever were to be assaulted, random people would make it their business to call them liars if they report their assault. There's a reason why an estimated 90% of sexual assaults go unreported. 90% by whom? 90% by whom, you know. Every post you make like this contributes to victims feeling scared that they won't be believed if they report. Your post is a harmful, mean-spirited, and vindictive. That's her wording. I think there are much better ways to spend your time. To which Alexander replied, "This is feminist bunk. False rape accusations are as rare as barking dogs, and many of the women who make them are barking." Check out the International False Rape Timeline I set up in 2016. Real victims report promptly, and most of them fight back. This generates physical evidence, which is why most rapists are convicted. Indeed, a recent on that subject, a recent addition to the False Rape Timeline. I can find this again. This was added this, I think earlier this month. Yeah, in this is file 5697.htm. On what is this? There's some. Yeah, it's Daily Mirror, April 23rd, 1982, page 6. So John Woodcock, who had been or was Chief Constable of South Wales from 1979 to 83, he said that in South Wales in 1981 there were 34 genuine complaints and 34 rapists were convicted. Yet 45 women made false complaints which they later admitted. There's a quote here, they had consented to sexual acts outside marriage and then made complaints to cover up and stuff like that. So it shows that even in 1981 there were more false complaints than genuine ones, and nowadays there's so many reasons for women to make false. There have been characters, I'll come to explain this in a bit, and I've explained on other videos and other articles. They are literally being encouraged to make false allegations of rape, literally. Now, on that subject, there's an article here from a recent article from The Guardian. This is did the link wrong there. Let's try that. Here we are. This is Guardian, October 8th, so it's very recent. Scottish experts call for rape complainer and anonymity law. Well, there's anonymity anyway. Who are these experts? Well, one of them is Sandy Brinley of Rape Crisis Scotland. No, they're not experts. Brinley, after Alex Salmon was acquitted of all charges by a grubby little conspiracy, she referred to these brave women. No, they weren't brave women, they were liars. Dirty, filthy liars. And Rape Crisis Scotland has been in actually the forefront of perverted rule of law. In Scotland, you have 3 verdicts. Probably the only sound legal system in the world, actually. You have guilty, not proven. They're trying to get away with do away with the not proven verdict. And what they've also been doing since early 2017, I've done a video on this. It's called "These Bitches Are Playing You." You'll find it in the Internet Archive and on BitChute now. But basically, they're 2 things they're doing. One is they're trying to brainwash the public, police officers, etc., everybody into believing that women just freeze. I just froze. I thought I'd fight back, but I just froze. So, that's to explain away delayed reporting in rape cases. And the other thing is they're allowing women to. This is happening in Britain as well, to have sexual examinations, sexual assault nurse examiner to be checked by sexual assault nurse examiners, to take samples, etc., and then delay reporting for up to a year, so to get a story straight, basically. The best examples of how this can lead to injustice, or could lead to justice, are 3 cases on the timeline I mentioned. There's Nicole Osborne, who accused a bloke named what was his name? Dawes, in about 2003. There's the Andrew Bond case in, I think, 2001. And there's actually a video from Norman, Oklahoma, Rodney Anderson. It's actually a video of the assistant district attorney explaining why charges weren't brought. It shows what can happen when women drink alcohol, drink a lot of alcohol, and then it fucks up their memories, and that they remember things that didn't happen, or they forget they consented to sex and that. So these women are not experts. They're actually a cancer. They should be. The whole rape crisis network should be shut down. So Rape Crisis Scotland are just really odious. Rape Crisis Dublin maybe just as bad. My correspondent from Ireland said I had a conversation with him a while back, and he said that a lot of Irish women are bonkers. That's his word, bonkers. And if you look at the rape crisis, where's this Rape Crisis Ireland? I've got a link here somewhere. I know where it is. It's an image I saved. Yeah. Um, Ireland has the whole of Ireland, the Republic of Northern Ireland, has a population of around 7 million. You've got rape crisis centres at Carlow and South Leinster. This is 2013, so might be more now. Carlow and South Leinster, Donegal Sexual Abuse and Rape Crisis Centre, Galway Rape Crisis Centre, Kerry Rape and Sexual Abuse Centre, Kilkenny Rape Crisis and Counselling Centre, Mayo Rape Crisis Midwest, Rape Crisis North East, Rape Crisis Sexual Abuse Counselling County Sligo, Leitrim and West Cavan, Tipperary Regional Sexual Abuse and Rape Crisis Centre, Tullamore, Waterford, Wexford Rape Crisis Sexual Abuse Centre, Northern Ireland, which I presume is there's only one in Northern Ireland. Wow, only one. But I mean, you have to wonder. I mean, it's just absurd. Are women really being raped that frequently? You know, it's absolutely absurd. Comparable with Ireland is New Zealand. I've found a lot of cases from New Zealand. I mean, New Zealand has actually a smaller population than Ireland. It's about 5 million, and women there. There've been so many cases in New Zealand. Singapore has a quite small population, and foreign maids accusing their employers, especially Indonesian maids, either having sex with their employers and then crying rape or just crying rape. It's just amazing. India has a massive population, of course. Since there's special problems with India because of the dowry system, and rape in India means it's a somewhat broader definition in the West. For guys, sex with a woman on promise of marriage, then dumps her, she can cry rape. Well, she can cry rape for any reason anywhere. But since the December 2012, since we would believe it's that long ago, December 2012, we had that really horrible case of India's daughter, where this woman was literally raped to death by these lowlifes. 4 of whom were hanged eventually, and led to an increase in false rape allegations. India appears to be the only country in the world in which there are significant numbers of false rape allegations made purely for financial reasons. I mean, it happens in other places as well. I mean, I've no doubt that, well, it happens here. People will get criminal induced compensation. I had criminal induced compensation for when I was attacked in November 1993. I got about just over $2,000. I had to pay the lawyer, and it cost me £55 a hospital report. But it's up to about 11,000, I think, for, it used to be for in the UK. But there've been 3 or 4 cases of women who've cried rape purely for money. There was a woman named Wilson, and there was an author, Dawn Annandale, staged rapes at their homes purely for financial reasons. But if a woman cries rape and she makes files a report and she's told she can claim criminal induced compensation, well, she might be hung for sheep as for a lamb. But India, the blackmail gangs, it's mostly extortion, But the Indian police are right on the money, and they've with CCTV and phone tracking everything, I mean, India's a nuclear power, don't forget. But Canada is the worst country in the world, probably, to be falsely accused of any sexual offence because of the pernicious influence of legal dominance feminism. There are no jury trials in India either, but I think that's because of corruption. But there are no jury trials for rape in Canada, which is outrageous. Which brings us to the future. I'd like, as long as I'm able, as long as I'm alive and able, which I'd like to keep extending the timeline. I've got entries from all over the world. There's a lot from the UK, well, from the British Isles, from North America, US and Canada, a lot from Australia and New Zealand, quite a lot from India, various places in Africa, but there are lots of countries which I've got nothing at all. I don't know anything from, I might have one from Brazil, nothing from Uruguay. I don't think there's anything from Greece. Might be one from Greece, probably not. Turkey. I've got one. I think one or two from Russia. But I'd like to, if anybody wants to send me links to articles or scans of articles from newspapers, etc., in different languages, that's being amenable to that. I'm going to make another video probably later this month, which will upset one person in particular, a male, a so-called professional, well, a scientist actually. Probably later this month. I'd like more from the non-English speaking world. I mean, English is a lingua franca of the universe. So, but I like more from countries in which English is not spoken largely as a second language. So, if anybody can, if you have any, I'd be much appreciative of those. But apart from that, I'm just going to keep on developing the timeline for as long as I can. 5,000 now. I don't expect to get up to 6,000 for a while, but I'll say there are other places. I mean, this is the largest collection of false rape allegations anywhere, but there are other websites. There's a guy who runs a site called Victims, victims.com. That's victims with an F. Victims, like phony false victims. There's also you find stuff on Reddit, and there are Facebook groups as well. Keep a lookout. Anybody wants to send me links, you know where I live. Anybody wants to send me donations, I did set up a Patreon a few years ago, and I had not one member, but I've had a few donations. So I've got the site sponsors, but mostly I'm looking for material. I've got literally thousands of files on my hard disk to sort out and process. I might do a few more tomorrow, but what I want to do now is archive the site properly. I've archived it quite a lot, but I want to add some more. I want to run it through the Wayback Machine again, and archive some more files. I might also use archive.is, so it's available when I'm no longer on this planet, which I know, well, I don't deserve to live longer than Eddie Van Halen, but anyway, that's hangout number 42. Hope to have this online maybe Sunday the 11th or Monday the 12th, Tuesday at the latest.